On December 3, 1984, tragedy struck Bhopal, India. A cloud of highly toxic MIC, methyl isocyanate gas, rolled across the slums in the Indian countryside, killing upwards of 3,500 people within a matter of hours. Aside from these 3,500 lives that were suddenly terminated, there were over 200,000 injured, injuries being blindness, burns, boils, and severe respiratory lesions. The question arises as to how a tragedy of this magnitude could occur in our technologically and industrially advanced modern world. How were there no safety protocols to predict and prevent a gas leak of this sort? How was the response so weak that so many lives would be lost and damaged? How was the plant allowed to operate with such weak protective measures? The plant responsible for this disaster was Union Carbide India Limited, the Indian subsidiary of the American multinational company Union Carbide Corporation, headed by Warren M. Anderson, who was Union Carbide's chairman of the board at the time of the accident. The pesticide factory in Bhopal intended to increase agricultural production and provide jobs in India by producing the MIC pesticide at this facility rather than importing it, regardless of the country's lack of adequate technology to produce such a chemical. The plant housed 3 underground storage tanks, each holding 68,000 liters of MIC, which is more than they should be storing. On the night of the tragedy, water entered a side pipe and into an MIC storage tank, initiating an exothermic reaction. The MIC began to turn from liquid to gas, shooting out of the tank stack and rupturing the concrete. Thus, the MIC gas clouds began to roll over the plant and towards the nearby shanty neighborhoods, staying low to the ground because of its density. This escalation was able to happen because of the immediate hazardous conditions of the facility. Its safety systems were not functioning. The valves and lines were in poor condition. The vent, gas scrubbers, and steam boiler to prevent leaks were out of service. Gauges to measure the severity of the leak were malfunctioning, and alarms were broken. Beyond these immediate causes exist ethical violations that underlie the disaster at Bhopal. The ASCE Code of Ethics canon puts forth that engineers must consider and balance societal, environmental, and economic impacts, along with opportunities for improvement in their work. The operating force of Union Carbide clearly did not consider and balance the threats of their operations both societally and environmentally. Rather, they focused solely on the economic impact portion of the canon, downsizing their maintenance department to cut company costs. Obviously, this ignored the balance that the Code of Ethics demanded, as it threatened societal and environmental considerations for the sake of economic success. A second clause of the ASCE Code of Ethics that the Union Carbide Company drastically violated was that the engineer must first and foremost protect the health, safety, and welfare of the public. Clearly, the event that killed and injured thousands of individuals explicitly violates this clause. Union Carbide further violated this canon in doubting the role of American safety and environmental standards internationally. Whether this was a decision made by the company to not outstretch its jurisdiction, the decision should be amended regardless to allow for American protocol to be implemented in its multinational companies in instances of such clear threats to the health, safety, and welfare of the public, regardless of country. With an understanding of how ethical violations can escalate in such drastic ways when they arise out of such awful corruption and laziness, I'm now able to move forward into the industrial world with an understanding and personal demand and drive for processes to follow regulation, for things to be done in the honest and clear manner, and for the health and safety and welfare of the public to be considered in all moments. Reflecting on the Bhopal incident, I will strive to avoid tragedy of this sort on my projects by abiding by regulation thoroughly, ensuring there exist contingency plans for emergencies, incorporating risk management strategies, and evaluating measures and programs to reduce the seriousness of an accident. Much can be and has been learned from the tragedy of Bhopal that will shape the future of management, planning, and industry. Thank you.